They say you're supposed to have it all figured out by your 20s. College, life, family, bills. But what if you don't? And are you still trying to find your path? Well, in this episode, we dig into that and what it really feels like. The pressure, the expectations, but also the moments where you just have to give yourself grace. This is The Underlined Will. I am your host, Will, aka TNC Cuban, and today I'm joined by my older sister, someone who is not even a year older than me and knows the grind just as well as I do. Together, we talk about our very different journeys through college living, completely separate lives since before we've even graduated high school. These common threads that have kept us going through it all is grit, growth, and knowing that everything is gonna be okay. So talking about the classes, right? Here we are, we're both young in our 30s.
Young. I'm a late
We're both
teenager in
young.
high school.
Yeah, but so we're both young in our 30s. We're both seeking school, right? And we're both getting degrees. I'm doing mass communications, right? But what is your degree, I guess, technically called?
So I will be graduating with 2 degrees, and it's gonna be the business management, of technology as well as my accounting degree. It's just the AA, but I do plan on following up to get my bachelor's and master's.
So with your experience now, I feel like there's a difference between the younger generation or the younger people, I'll say, going to college versus being older and going to college, because there's definitely a different perspective on how I think you would go through things. I mean, you were just asking me about the stuff with ITT Tech and like my experience and how I gained, I guess, some kind of knowledge or some kind of experience. But if I was to take what I learned or what I understood then, and I try to apply it to what I see a lot of the younger kids going to college with now, is that same struggle of, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Where's the guidance in that? But now being 30 plus years old, right, in our 30s, young 30s, it definitely seems like it's a lot easier and a lot of it makes more sense. Even in the learning aspect of going into something that you don't know. What do you think about all that?
I think there's a truth to it. Even one of the things I remember hearing because of what my own nervousness, even being in my 30s, trying to go sign up for class in college, is that they had a few people that would tell me, you know, "You're a non-traditional student, but y'all are like the best ones. You've lived a certain life experience that helps you go a little further, push for a little bit more, and it's okay to not know what you're doing because most people do change majors or what their direction might be. But once we're at this age, we've lived the life a little bit to understand where we wanna go with things. It's helped."
So being here in Seattle, going to all these different conferences, one of the things that I've noticed that seems to be a common question, or kind of maybe a fun question that the panelists will ask the presenters, is if you were to see yourself, and I find this question very interesting compared to like an 18, 19-year-old person, to me being 30 years old. If you were to see yourself at 17 years old, go back in time, and you were to give 17-year-old sissy, 17-year-old little brother, if you were to tell yourself anything, what would you say? Just out of curiosity, what do you think you would tell yourself?
It's kinda crazy because Imma go and start with the first thing that came to mind. And it's one thing that our great-grandpa, I remember him telling us when we were younger, with all the things that was going on in life, even for us so young, is everything's gonna be okay. I was a young mom, you know? I was 16 and pregnant, and everything of that was what I was worried about. I was worried I couldn't go to school and be a mom, and I could, I just there was something I had earlier that I wish I had in my hand right now, and we live by the society and what our families and everything around us say this is the standard and this is what it has to be, that if we could just adjust that, upgrade what we really think needs to be done, what is the priority in life and living happy, you know, and giving ourselves the time and grace and know that it's going to be okay. Because, I mean, it's crazy how simple that is, but it really does hit whenever you think about everything you've already done, even in your young life from 17. You've made it that far and you're okay. And you will be okay for another 17 years, you know?
That's pretty strong, Sissy. That's pretty good. I like that. I like that. I feel like you might have practiced that at some point. I don't know. You just said that so naturally, so well. I give you props. That was a great answer, honestly. No, when I heard that question and I thought about it, I was like, the first thing I came to mind was don't do drugs.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Thing that came to mind for me. Don't do drugs. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. But as you were talking and explaining your perspective, essentially, I kind of resonated with the uh, uh, perspective of like, your family has these standards. Everybody in school says, hey, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. And I started to realize that, you know what, maybe if I was to give myself maybe some good advice in that same perspective, I would have to say is you don't have to please everybody. Just don't worry about pleasing everybody. It's almost in that same sense of what you were just talking about. So I don't think I could say it better than you did, but that along those same lines, I think that's what it would come down to is try. You can't please everybody. Don't try to please everybody. Try to help yourself do better first that before pleasing everybody else and doing everything else for them. Do it for yourself, not for them. So
the struggle is real, but it's mostly just within you. So just keep that peace. And I mean, we've made it this far and with grades we didn't expect, but keep that grit, as they say, just and have faith in yourself with it.
it's
They say it was like measuring success. They have this certain standard, but really, if you're growing, if you're showing up and you are happy with the work that you're putting in, then that's a great way to measure the success for yourself and knowing that you'll get further. You will get further because you got that far. Every step counts.
come this far, yeah. I love my sissy. She truly is awesome. We have been through a lot, and if there is one thing that I hope you all take away from this is that you are not behind and that you are just simply on your own timeline. So whether you're 18, 25, or even 38 plus years old, we're all just trying to figure things out. We're just trying to get through those finals and hold our lives together, all the while chasing the real goals of life. Ultimately, we got to remember that every step counts and that a lot of the time it might not make sense and it just seems like everything might be lost. But if you've got the grit and you have a little faith, you got to know everything's gonna be okay. This has been the Underlined Will. I am TNC and I will keep going. So like usual, I'll catch you guys all on the flip side. Peace.